Attention Sleepless Knights. Thank you for consuming this OSI 74 product broadcast, live from the Black Knight satellite. For optimum performance and safety, your host, Mr. Lobo, asks that you please listen to these instructions carefully. When in a hospital or other healthcare facility, observe the restrictions on the use of electronic devices. Switch off before boarding an aircraft to prevent interference with communications systems. Do not operate this device in the presence of flammable gases or fumes, chemical plants, or where blasting operations are in progress. Always listen hands-free while driving a vehicle. Failure to observe these instructions may lead to immediate termination. It's time now for the show to begin. Thank you. Have a very pleasant evening.
You're not dreaming, you're driving. We are continuing the Sleepless Knights podcast.
If I'm dreaming, I don't want to be dreaming this dream because this is a very dull dream. I'd rather be flying in my dreams than driving the car.
Well, we have someone in the car who has been flying. Aaron M. Lane of Lane Film Ltd. is joining us here on the Sleepless Knights podcast. He is probably zombified and disgusted, a little more suicidal than usual, probably at this point. But I'm gonna be handing the microphone back to him.
And I'm gonna be handing my microphone to Lobo because I really need to concentrate in this driving because it's really hellacious in Philadelphia even for me. Here we go. Here's some mic tossing.
All right, so we're all out of the way. See now, Paul.
Now the road rage comes.
Yes, Paul can now do his.
He's free to turn into that Goofy cartoon.
Yes.
Way to merge, asshole!
All right, so now we're recording, and I think. Where are we? Dixie wants to know where we're eating, and this is.
It's so good that the listeners get to listen in on this conversation.
Yes,
this quality show we're putting on.
Oh yeah. Nothing but the best for our listeners.
Spare no expense.
Yes, we spared no expense because there are no expenses.
Now there's no way to do this live so the people could actually vote on where we go to eat. Is there?
Oh no,
that would be great. I'd love
to be up on Facebook.
I'd love to know where the audience wants us to go right now. So,
poll says.
Gallup poll. So now we're going to, I guess, find some place to eat. Where did we eat last time you came in? We ate at that.
We're already past that.
We're already past that. That place was kind of expensive too, and we're on a budget.
I've got $3.
$3 at the Wawa.
Aren't you glad, Aaron, that you're here? The first time we brought you out, you brought yourself out.
Yeah.
the first time you came out, we got you steak. Now
and lobster. But you made sure to remind me ahead of time. There's not an ocean near here.
Yeah. That was for your safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not close
this
enough
might just be a crawdad on steroids.
It did sort of look like a crawdad, to be honest. It was the smallest lobster tail I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was strange, and it had a baby shoe, which made it even stranger. So we're not sure what that was.
Chernobyl Farms.
Yeah.
Hashtag sponsored.
Yes, that's right.
That does seem like a sponsor.
Chernobyl Farms. Yes.
We remember.
Oh man. So
it's where you can get your splice of life.
Yes, that's right. So yes, we're looking for some good mutated home cooking now. So where do we want to go? We want to. Hamburgers, maybe? Does everybody feel maybe that they could do a hamburger or no? Dixie says no. Hard no on hamburgers. No. I'm just trying to get a general idea of where we're at.
I want the best that $3 can buy. That's what I want.
Paul wants to get his $3. Is that the same $3 that Dixie gave you?
Yes, it is. It's the only $3 to my name.
Paul is working for $3 today.
That's his per diem for the day.
Oh man, this is rough. What the hell are we doing?
go.
All right.
That should be on the back of a
VHS tapes.
DVD cover. What the hell are we doing?
Indeed. The
The
greatest shit show on earth.
I forgot about that idea. We should still make that.
Yes. That works. I think that works better on the podcast.
I think
certainly.
it could run during Sleazy's show.
Yeah, that's true. Some of the shows for sure. Trash Night probably.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
totally on Trash Night.
Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself, I guess. Since we've got you in the car, we've trapped you, and we made you part of this podcast. Why don't you get people up to speed as to how you fit into things here on Cinema Insomnia?
Well, I've been a producer and editor on Cinema Insomnia since the 10th season. I got brought in on War of the Planets to fix some shoddy green screen and just kind of never left.
Lucky for us.
The grooves are still on the couch.
I think most of the OSI Cinema Insomnia episodes that are up there, I think I've done all but maybe 3 or 4 of them.
And Aaron cleaned up a lot of the stuff we shot at Zombie that some of the episodes from Zombie were reconfigured and re-edited also by Aaron.
And some of like the season 1 and 2 stuff lately.
Yeah, that's amazing. We've recovered so much material that's like 15 years, stuff that I don't even remember doing.
Yeah, we're down to less than 10 episodes that like we don't have the means to put back together until we find the tapes. Because I think most of them are still there somewhere. I think when we were like kind of comparing notes, I think there was only 2 or 3 that are just gone, or you're like, yeah, it's not worth digging it back up. Let's just do a new one.
Yeah, definitely. I think that
because I think we're doing a couple of those over these next couple weeks.
Thank you, Aaron, for all that you do. We appreciate you, and we're glad that you're here, safe on terra firma. And we'll be right back with more Sleepless Nights of Insomnia.
After this message from Massager Chef.
Airport. In the air and on the ground, action, suspense, excitement that never lets up.
Starring Burt Lancaster, Dean Martin, George Kennedy, more than a dozen top stars.
Airport comes roaring at you with the power of a 747 at full throttle.
Grab him, he's got a bomb! You stay where you are! Don't try to get any closer.
You'll kill yourself or nothing if you explode that bomb. Your insurance is canceled. It's worthless.
This airport is staying open. You're blocking my runway. Petroni, he'll take over.
He tears this ship apart. I hope you've got $8 million to pay for it.
I'll have this out of here by midnight. If I have to pull that plane out with my teeth.
The #1 novel of the year, now an overpowering motion picture.
The Ross Hunter production, Airport, from Universal. Rated G, all ages.
And we're back with more Sleepless
Voice
Nights.
command.
With more
Voice
Sleepless
command.
With more Sleepless.
Voice command. God damn it, doesn't listen to me.
Sleepless Nights of Insomnia. Paul is screaming at
Voice
his GPS
command.
trying to get food.
Maybe I do it lower.
I thought this was a
Voice
bit.
command.
I didn't realize he's fighting with the GPS.
Voice command.
Really doing
Yeah, I thought he was just trying to drown out the show, and there was some joke I was missing.
5 minutes of delay were added to your route.
just wanted to
You are on the fastest route.
Kiss my ass. Voice command.
Say a command.
Find place.
Speak the name of a place.
Food.
Food, ladies and
Main
gentlemen.
menu.
Oh, main menu.
Wow.
Close enough.
All the way out to main menu again.
How about find category?
Speak a category.
Food.
Select a subcategory.
All restaurants?
Searching for all restaurants.
All right, we got.
Select a
Would
line
you like to
number.
buy a vowel?
Yeah. Well, Denny's is going backwards, right?
Down. Down.
Keep
A
going.
taste of Key West. What does that even mean?
Especially when we're not in Florida.
No.
Oh no, it's taking us someplace.
Navigation.
Back.
Great idea, Lobo.
I'm
Is
sorry.
it taking us to Taste of Key West, or is it taking us to
Yes.
Select a
Florida?
line number.
A taste of Key West sounds like a porno.
Down.
That's It's like a taste of Vanessa.
Oh.
Down.
Here we go.
Down. Down. Down.
Didn't it go back to the top? I see 1, 2, 3, 4.
This is going to be the most interesting segment ever.
Wow.
Down.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize.
Yeah, we may have to edit this crap down. No one's listening.
Down.
Aaron is already editing this podcast.
Down. There it goes.
Jesus.
Stargate Diner. You want to go to the diner?
Yeah, let's just
Yeah,
go to
Stargate Diner. That sounds awesome.
I want to meet,
2. I want to go to a different.
I'll take
planet.
the SG1's platter, please.
I suspect
God
it's
damn
going
it,
to
2.
disappoint us when there's not an actual Stargate.
2. You can't write this shit.
And why would you want to?
Apparently, you got to listen to it.
Yes.
I just have to use the bathroom. That's why I keep asking where we're eating.
I see. Dixie needs to use the restroom.
I can pull over.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't have any toilet paper.
Wouldn't want to be.
And I'm a proper lady, so.
Yeah.
And napkins.
Well, that'd be rough.
You didn't say napkins, did you? You said napkins.
I said
right?
napkins.
Napkins. This is not a Frank Zappa record.
Napkins.
Napkins.
On the right.
Napkins.
To I-476 north.
All right, so I guess we're headed toward what? Have we figured it out? Stargate Diner?
We're somewhere in between Nevada and Maine.
I feel like we're headed to the diner at the end of the universe.
Yes. Yeah. So who does that make Aaron Zaphod?
Zaphod Beaver. Are we going to go through this again?
I feel like I'm
part
a
of the
confirmed Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Okay,
I don't think that anybody else gets to take that away from me.
All right, so we're not fighting as to who gets to be Zaphod, are we?
I mean, I guess I could be like Sam Rockwell of Zaphod.
I thought Aaron's more like Marvin.
That's what I was thinking too.
But are you Marvin from the movie, the book, or the
radio
play, or the
show?
TV show? There's so many Marvins.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I'll be whatever Marvin.
I'll be right.
Been talking to the ship's computer, and it hates me.
Oh my God.
Are you Ford Prefect, Mr. Lobo?
I guess I would be Ford. Does that mean that Paul's Arthur? He's more the everyman?
No.
Right?
I don't know.
No?
I forgot my towel.
I think, yeah, Paul might be also Zaphod.
Am I the other head?
3 Zaphods and a baby?
Yeah.
Well, Dixie's the left head, I'm the right head.
That's true. We do
Maybe you're Trillian.
Trillian?
Right?
Ooh.
Maybe you're the lady.
You left your job at the Dole Q, or actually, she didn't have a job, right? That's why she was at the Dole Q.
That's okay. She was played by Zooey.
That's like being
Zooey
on
Deschanel.
Played by Zooey
unemployment,
Deschanel.
right? You're going.
I'm okay with that.
I
She
don't
had to
think
go
you
back to
look
the
that good with
unemployment
bangs, though,
office
Paul.
on Monday. That's why she decided to go with Zaphod, right?
Only one way to find out. Video podcast.
Vodcast.
I have like a million wigs. I think we should do a whole podcast where everyone's wearing a wig.
Is that what Chubby Bunny's going to be?
Yeah.
All wearing wigs?
I think we should trade wigs every break.
Now, Paul, I have to admit
Let's see who
that
gets
I
lice
did
first.
eat a lot of those marshmallows that you bought for Chubby Bunny.
What's that?
I ate a lot of those marshmallows.
Oh boy. Oh,
Yeah, I almost feel like knowing us, we would do the thing of changing wigs every break, and yet it'd be an audio podcast still.
Yes.
So no one can see it anyway.
We would think we were filming, but then something wouldn't be plugged in.
Keep right to McDade Boulevard.
McDade and Boulevard.
Welcome to Mac Dave's.
No,
How may I help
McDade.
you?
Thought that
Is
said
that the
Matt
only
Damon
place?
Boulevard.
Matt
Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Where's Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck at the corner of Ben Affleck Drive.
Yell Matt Damon.
Yeah, Team America.
Okay. Sometimes things happen in my head, and I'm like, wait, I don't think I came up with that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they had this marionette that looked like Matt Damon, and all he ever said, Matt Damon, Matt Damon. Like everyone else, they got sound alikes and tried to pass them off as the actual celebrities. Him was just like, fuck it, Matt Damon.
That's hilarious. Oh God.
What's even funnier is that I say Matt Damon like that, but I've never seen that movie. I'm afraid
It's just
of
like
those
a coincidence.
Yeah, that's just how, when I see Matt Damon's stupid face, that's what I want to say.
Now, if we go through the front door of the Stargate Diner, do we end up at a different planet?
That would be awesome, but I doubt it.
I hope
Is
so.
it the Stargate
I
Diner?
hope there's no oxygen on the planet that we go to, and we all just die a horrible death.
I'm
Oh,
okay
that would
with
be fantastic.
Lobo,
Now we were talking about
Happy birthday
having
to
a
me.
better
Aaron should never
attitude. Better attitudes. We talked about this in the last podcast. Is that we have the most depressive bunch of people trying
now
to
we
make
just
sure.
proved
Every day
it.
we're all praying for sweet release of death.
Well, I was like the other day when I messaged you, I'm like, we should do a Mr. Lobo does the Tide Pod challenge.
Is that why you've been telling me about it all week?
I think that.
Why are people eating them?
Because they're fucking stupid.
They do look
Darwinism.
delicious, I
You are
have to
talking about
say.
the same people. No.
But like, it's only the colors are really appealing. But why would you put like a lot of things that will kill
they
you?
expecting them
look
to be
delicious.
like a gummy bear? I mean, what's the thing they're expecting?
It really comes down
How
to
did
someone
they
on
test
YouTube
it?
said my name and they challenged me, so I have to do it. It's an
Oh.
ice
Fuck
bucket
those
challenge, but with
people. Oh my
but with
God.
Tide,
But with bleach in your mouth.
which I actually was thinking about. I thought it'd be really funny
Bleach in your mouth
To-
and pride in your heart.
to get some gelatin and actually mold something that looks
Oh,
exactly like a
I
Tide
saw,
Pod
like,
and do a
just
fake Tide Pod.
tutorial on doing that.
Yeah. Do a fake Tide Pod challenge video and just be like, that doesn't taste very good. While people are like, why isn't he dying?
Right. I think you should just have a full-on recipes where you just come out with a sheet of them, and you just can't stop
They're-
eating them.
They're like Jello shots.
Yeah.
It's the new party drink.
Yeah.
It was like a whole like to make edible plastic and everything. It was a recipe to make them completely
interesting.
edible.
Completely edible Tide Pod.
It seemed like
That's
it
a
was,
snack bar segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a snack bar segment, and I feel like that at a certain point, Tide is going to jump on this and make an edible Tide Pod.
They should.
Oh my God, they
I
get sued in the
smell
Stone
money.
Age by the people whose kids have poisoned themselves so far.
From the makers of Tide Pod comes.
If you have to
edible
eat it,
Tide Pod.
Yeah,
yes.
because right now they can be like, well, if they're stupid enough to eat a Tide Pod, that's natural selection. As soon as they're selling edible Tide Pods, it becomes their fault.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But they could do it with the fake idea that since kids are eating them, we decided that we would we provide a safe alternative.
Right.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it's just not popular anymore.
Yeah.
They comp to it, forget it.
All right, well, believe it or not, we have been blathering on for 12 and a half minutes on this garbage, so I think we're going to take...
the Stargate Dinner.
And we all apologize for that.
Yeah, so
It said Stargate Dinner, too.
Stargate Dinner on the
It
right.
sounded like she said that.
So we're going to have
That's what
some
it says on
food
the
here at the
GPS.
Stargate Dinner / Stargate Diner. Hopefully
What if
we
it's a
end up...
Stargate dinner theater.
Ooh, at the end of the universe.
So the question is, if this is the Stargate Diner, what if we go in there and
Here it
all
is.
diners where?
Right here.
Where?
There's a sign.
Wow.
Right here.
Where?
Right here.
Where?
Pull over.
What?
This
The place
is it.
that's all
Old
lit
Time
up.
We're
Kids?
here.
I
How
gotta
come it looks
say,
like a
this
Burger
place
King?
looks like a shithole.
Like a strip
I
bar.
think we should leave.
All right.
I don't want to use the bathroom in there.
No, man.
Wow. Yeah, this
You
place
can
looks
get
like
burgers
a total
and a lap
dump.
dance.
Yeah.
Hashtag sponsored.
For $9.99.
Hepatitis. Here's where you get a side of hepatitis with your burger.
But you know what? There are definitely people in there eating, but do they
Yes.
look like high class?
Well, they don't have to be high class. Look at us.
I don't think high class hookers
For the exception
would
of
be,
Lobo.
No.
I do.
No, we're
Feel, I
looking
do
at that.
feel like
They're
you could get a lap.
$9.99 and you get a
I feel like you get
cheeseburger.
a lap dance in there. I
Burger
really
and a
do.
lap dance? I'm game
Yeah,
for that,
for
but I'm not
under
wearing
$10.
pants,
All these people are geriatric. They're not gonna like our sense of humor.
so they're gonna like us bringing in a.
Stay
It's
for
not
the
the future
stay for
I
the
was
pie.
hoping for when we
All right,
picked
so-
it.
All
Is
right,
this some
so-
kind of snarky commentary on Stargate?
We should just go in.
I mean,
All
otherwise
right.
they need to sue because this is bullshit.
I think Burger King needs to sue somebody.
You say that this building
Yeah,
used to be a
building
Burger,
is a Burger King.
Yeah, it was a Burger
There's
King.
a sunroom.
This is like if someone
like an
turned
80s Burger
a Burger King
This
into
is
a
like
Mexican
Burger
car
King.
wash.
It didn't quite make it up to King.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the strip club / Burger King / Mexican car wash, and after we've eaten, and if we survive, we'll be back with more Sleepless Nights of Insomnia.
God help us.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Dragging your butt through the day, selling body and soul to a bunch of bland normals? Acting stupid so they'll think you're one of them? Tired of getting all of the guilt, but none of the sex? There is a simple answer, dear friend. A glowing beacon of slack amidst the turmoil and darkness. It's J.R. Bob Dobbs, the living slack master, and his Church of the Subgenius. Bob brings a new destiny for the abnormal. For Bob comes to justify our sins, to unmask the conspiracy, and to get us back the slack they stole away. It's us versus them. Are you gonna fry in hell on earth alongside the pink boys? Or will you pull the wool over your own eyes and accept Bob into your mind? Repent, quit your job, slack off, and praise Bob!
Church of the Subgenius, eternal salvation, or triple your money back.
Watch it on OSI 74.
So long, and turn right at the traffic light.
And we're back.
Exit right.
Thank you, Paul's GPS.
We're exiting right.
We're exiting right. We're getting on 95. We've just finished a sumptuous meal at the Stargate Diner. I had like a nose hair, at least I hope it was a nose hair in mine. I had the gyro, which I believe they call a gyro in these parts. I had the gyro with French fries and a coffee. And Paul, what did you have?
I had a big mistake, is what I had.
Yeah, big mistake.
Big mistake. You know, going to a diner / strip club, I should not have gotten the roast beef sandwich.
Oh, Paul, did you find a piercing in your roast beef sandwich? And what did you have, Dixie?
Construction was reported on Colchester
I don't want to know
Highway.
about it. Dixie doesn't want to talk about it.
Dixie got crabs.
Oh, that's awful.
Hepatitis. 70s, everybody had.
All right. So
I don't know if they were Alaskan King, but they felt huge.
So, Aaron, what did you have at this weird strip club / diner?
Oh God. I had fried chicken, and then a bizarre lap dance from what the hell is that Burger King character?
Sir Shakes a Lot?
Sir Shakes a Lot.
How did you get Sir Shakes a Lot? I got the pregnant one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a 2-for-1 special.
I didn't know how to tip. She took me to the shower stage, but I wasn't expecting to be showered with milk.
Oh God, Paul, no.
Oh, that's her specialty, the baby shower.
Oh no. You're giving the Duke of Doubt a lot of things to worry about.
What stripper did you get?
I had a ficus. I stuck with the plants, but she ended up being plastic.
So you're saying that she wasn't all real?
No, she was.
Implants?
She had. There was a plant with implants. Yes.
Her gardener does good work.
Yes.
He knows the guy.
Plastic gardener.
What about Dixie? What did she have?
Dixie's not talking about it. No.
She's just permanently traumatized at this point.
Yeah, she'll never speak again. You remember that time we went to the Stargate Diner and Dixie never spoke again?
Yes. Starlight Diner.
It's gonna be like a sad Dixie video where we're just staring off to sounds of silence.
Stargate Diner.
In the Stargate Diner.
Yes.
Hello, Stargate, my old friend. I'm here to talk with you again. All right. So we are on the freeway. They call them freeways out here, Paul? Or are they highways?
I don't know.
It's not. We're on a turnpike, right? Turnpike is where you got to pay.
Oh, Dixie, weren't you going to talk about the bear trap?
Oh, okay. So the stripper had piercings and it looked like a bear trap. And that's all I have to say. You can fill in the gaps there.
Oh, gross.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Oh, this is just so wrong. This is just so wrong.
It's just odd to put a diner and strip club inside of
an old Burger King.
That's just not.
So we were trying to remember all the Burger King characters, and there, of course, everyone knows the Burger King. Paul pointed out that there probably was the Dairy Queen. There was probably a divorce at some point.
Yeah,
Dairy Queen probably split off and started her own franchise.
And the court gesture went off and became McDonald's.
The gesture was the gesture. Yes, the obscene gesture.
This whole segment's an obscene gesture.
Well, yeah, it's a tie into the last episode.
The obscene gesture.
I can't say that word.
Jester or gesture?
I can say gesture.
But not gesture.
But they both sound exactly the same when I say it.
If you're from Matt Glenn, jester and gesture are the same word.
And then I couldn't say the word
gesture.
That's it.
Gesture.
So just say shocker instead every time.
Yes,
People will figure it out.
Yes.
The shocker. Two and the pig, one and the stink.
Obscene gesture. Obscene jester. So we've got McDonald's. Going back to the original Burger King characters. Now let me talk about this briefly. H.R. Puffin Stuff was a children's program in the early 1970s, and it was huge. I mean, bigger than Teletubbies, bigger than Jesus.
Bigger than Space Jesus?
It was kind of like the Barney of its time, but maybe a little bigger.
Yeah, so it was a very enormously popular show, and the puppets on that show were fairly intricate and psychedelic. And there was a very tall dragon who was the mayor of the town, who was H.R. Puffin Stuff. And then there was Witchy Poo, which was this witch with striped socks and a long phallic clockwork orange kind of nose. And then we had talking trees and weird little bobbies, like policemen that were policing this town. And so McDonald's, in trying to market their burgers for children, they market this healthy food for children. They decided that that they might want to take notes from H.R. Puffin Stuff. So H.R. Puffin Stuff is thinking, oh yeah, we're going to get a sponsor, right? So McDonald's said, look, can we come in and just see how you make your puppets work and see how you do your thing? And they said, sure, come on over, McDonald's. Come on over with your bags of money and come watch us do our TV show. So I think they were thinking they were going to get a sponsor out of the deal.
I'm sure that's what they were thinking.
And McDonald's sat there and said, oh, okay, who's this guy? Well, this is H.R. Puffin Stuff. He's the mayor. He's a mayor, huh? How does his mouth work? How does his head work? How do his eyeballs move? Oh, that's cool. So when they went back to America, they created Mayor McCheese. And they created a Hamburglar, which was basically Witchy Poo. And they had their own little bobbies. They had Big Mac, who was a bobby. He was a cop. And they had their and they were all from McDonaldland.
The Grimace.
The Grimace, right.
Fry Guys. Did the Fry Guys come from that, or did the Fry Guys come
Nothing
from
can kill the
the
Grimace.
Fry Guys were all part of that same era. And so McDonaldland was just basically a play-for-play ripoff of H.R. Puffin Stuff's show. And they were in a bloody lawsuit for 13 years with H.R. Puffin Stuff.
Is that why a lot of that stuff kind of disappeared?
They were in a lawsuit with H.R. Puffin Stuff?
Well,
the dragon?
They were.
They serve the mayor?
This big puppet dragon sitting in a courtroom.
Nobody could stop the Grimace. No, what ended up happening actually is that Croft, the producers of H.R. Puffin Stuff, sued McDonald's. It was a 13-year lawsuit, which they finally won. And at that point, McDonald's had to pay them $13 million, which, to be honest, probably just recovered their lawyer costs.
That's like an afternoon of burger sales.
Yeah, and
we're still paying for it today.
They and basically they had to give up on. That's why you don't see Mayor McCheese anymore. You don't. Hamburglar got a redesign. They introduced some different looking characters, and they are always in the real world now. They're never in the McDonaldland world.
I think the Grimace and the Fry Guys stuck around. They stuck it out.
Fry Guys and Grimace stuck it out a little bit, but Grimace is a good guy. A lot changed.
Early on, Grimace looked a lot different. He was like brown and had 6, I think
four
4 or
arms.
6 arms. Yeah,
4 arms.
Horrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he stole the shakes. He was a shake stealer. And but in the height of McDonald Land mania, where you get your drinking glasses and your Happy Meals, before they did the movie tie-ins with the Happy Meals, it was all the McDonald Land characters. And
Ronald McDonald puppet.
Ronald
the saddest thing that you could ever
So
do.
I have to ask, so is the Grimace like chasing after Sir Shakes a lot? Because that just seems like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, that does seem like yes. They do the Pride Parade together every year. So this is what happened in the height of McDonald Land characters, the McDonald Land character era, 1970s. Burger King, not to be outdone, had their own land with a series of characters. And the Burger King, of course, was the king of this land. I don't know if it was Burger Land. I don't remember what the name of their land was. But they had Sir Shakes-a-Lot, who was a knight who was into milkshakes. And then they had the Duke of Doubt, who was the bad guy, and he was kind of their witch or whatever. But he was just a guy with a...
Does he look like Captain Hook?
No, he had like the Captain Hook was on. That was the guy that was on McDonald
like
Land.
Dastardly from Dastardly and Muttley.
No, the Captain Hook guys from McDonald Land. He was Captain Crook, I believe.
Oh wow!
So very, very original characters.
And very original characters. Very, very, very original. And then Duke of Doubt had a big ruffled collar, like a Shakespearean kind of ruffled collar. Yeah. And then he kind of looked like Squiggy. Other than that, he had. So if you could imagine Squiggy in tights and a Shakespearean collar, with a little. You got the poofy. What are those poofy pants? With this tights.
We need to bring him back in an episode of Cinema
Duke
Insomnia.
of Doubt, yeah. And he had a little, I believe he had not a monocle, but the thing that you hold up, with a little eyeglass that you could hold up to your eye. Yeah, but it was on a stick. It was, it was on I think he had like a little, what is that called? A little spectacle, a little something. I don't know what the fancier thing than a monocle. I guess it was a monocle, but it's not the kind that it's not the Colonel Klink monocle that you're holding with your eye muscles. It's the kind that.
What's the point of a monocle? Like, is it just if only one of your eyes is messed up?
I guess if only one of your eyes is if one of your eyes is slightly weaker than the other.
I feel like it would make you nauseous.
I feel like why not just wear glasses?
Right.
But I think it was a fashion statement,
It's ridiculous.
And maybe glasses were a lot more expensive. I don't know. Maybe you got a 50% discount if you only had a monocle. Anyway, going back to Burger King's knockoff version of the McDonald Land characters.
So it's like a ripoff of a ripoff.
It's
like rip-offception here.
Yes, this is like what Sleazy P. Martini likes to say. Everybody rip everybody else off. That's the song. That is what everyone does. And this is a cycle of ripping off. Everyone's ripping off everybody else.
You know what happens when you get a clone of a clone?
What happens when you get a clone of a clone?
Me.
There's a little bit of quality every time.
Oh, wow. That's sad. So Paul's like a 5th generation Xerox.
Yeah, the multiplicity effect.
He's like a 5th generation Xerox of Michael Keaton somehow.
Mole on his left butt cheek. That's why I don't like wearing pants.
So we're coming back to the Burger King characters. Dairy Queen. We assume that Dairy Queen might have been the queen, and she started her own land somewhere, the land of Dairy Queen, right? And then we've got the Duke of Doubt as the bad guy, Sir Shakes-a-Lot, the Wizard of Fries. Now, the Wizard of Fries, you'd think he would be a standard wizard, but that's where you would be wrong, my friend. The Wizard of Fries was a freaking robot.
Oh, wow.
And he had a bag of fries for a face.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's a nightmare scenario.
That's like
spell gone wrong.
That's like Frylock from Aqua Teen Hunger Force with a robot body added to it is what I'm picturing.
Yeah, Frylock is a mech. Yeah. No, yeah, so these were the Burger King characters. Please, anyone at home, if you remember these characters, was there a female? Were there any ladies? Was this a sausage fest in the burger world? So, Yeah. So anyway, and this all came about because they closed the Burger King and reopened it as a diner/strip
I
club.
thought this all came about because you wanted us to stop talking about strippers.
Now that you brought it back up.
Well, I think I derailed us onto this with Sir Shakes-a-Lot.
I like big buns and I do not lie. All right. Other brothers can't deny. So I think we're going to take a quick break here. My producer is telling me we should probably take a break.
We need like 5 minutes. You know, a little time.
And yeah.
He's like, I need a quick cry.
So we'll be back with more straight garbage after these.
Yeah, and we apologize again.
Today, class, I want each of you to read your homework assignments out loud. First, let's have Miss Hillary Latouche. Miss Latouche, what's the title of your composition?
What hanky-panky means to me.
What hanky-panky means to you?
You said we could write about anything we wanted.
No, very well.
What hanky-panky means to me by Hillary Latouche. Hanky-panky means to me finding some trouble and then getting into it.
Excuse me, Miss Latouche, but that sounds awkward.
Not if you know what you're doing.
Never mind.
Want to mess around?
I beg your pardon?
That's the next sentence. Want to mess around?
Miss Latouche, could I see you after class?
Sure, Professor. My place or yours?
Just sit down. Hemisphere Pictures presents Hanky Panky in color.
Want to mess around?
Adults only.
Starting to look like a disco.
Not yet.
Hey, catch the dancing booth. The Magic Burger King.
Let's liven the place with disco balloons. And here's some records of your favorite tunes.
I doubt my feet can disco. I've never danced before.
You don't need dancing feet when you have a dancing floor.
Hey, check out the dude.
Doing the disco down.
Dowdy, 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 disco down. Doing that disco down.
And now another big hit.
Great shake.
Let's pick up the pace.
Ooh, shake it, shake-a-lot. Shake it, shake-a-lot.
Let's disco to Burger King.
Where the smoothest dancer wins burgers.
Or fries.
With these slippery soles, I'll take first prize.
He loves magic and more. That's fun. He's got fun, he's got fun, he's got fun for everyone.
Can I win?
There's some doubt about that, dude. Burger King, yeah!
Now that's the way to do things, our way.
It's time for the merciful conclusion of our On the Road podcast.
On the road again.
Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Oh, potholes. God damn it. Fucking Pennsylvania.
A lot of potholes. Yeah, I think Pennsylvania has the worst roads ever. This has been kind of like, I feel like this podcast is probably equally as shabby as the roads in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, this is the pothole podcast.
Yes.
Pothole podcast.
There's a lot of potholes in this podcast. A lot of roads that don't go anywhere.
What do you think, Aaron? How are the roads comparison to where you come from out in Hollywood land?
Sparkly golden glitter town.
How are the roads in comparison?
I mean, they're worse, but not as much as you would think.
There you go.
All right.
Oh, I mean, you can vouch for that too. You've been out there.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that it does have in common is I feel like there's stretches of roads in both California and Pennsylvania where they've been under construction for 25 years.
Yeah.
I thought that they would never finish Watt Avenue in my lifetime. I mean, they finally did.
I think some of it's tore up again. I was just down there, and they've got those concrete.
Oh my God!
Again.
It's just like I mean, obviously they get money every year and they have to keep spending it. But I don't know. It's interesting. I don't like to make fun of people. I mean, I guess it's PennDOT out here. It's Caltrans in California. But I always feel like there's one guy working, and the rest are just jacking off. Yeah.
Not just jacking off.
You tied it back to the last one.
I just want to say on the radio for posterity that my dad, when he comes home from work and you say, "How was your day?" he says, "I was busting a nut at work." And I'm always like, you don't say that at work, right? Because that does not mean what you think it means. He's like, no, all the guys say it. And I'm thinking, they are making fun of you. You want to say that you were busting ass. You don't want to say that you were busting a nut at work. That is disgusting.
Depends on what kind of job he has.
You keep saying that phrase. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Precisely.
We certainly did not bust a nut on this podcast today.
I don't know. I think if you were to describe this in any way, that might be it. It's just like 6 segments of masturbation.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Nobody wants to hear any of this.
Including us. Busting ass, busting a nut. Turns of your dad has a lot of phrases that he does not really understand what those words actually mean.
I just think he's got like a bunch of jerks at work that say something and then he doesn't know what it means, and then they just cultivate that.
They don't correct him. It's not like Balky where he gets corrected. No, it's not piece of pie. It's piece of cake.
It sounds more like Michael Scott at The Office, where they're deliberately teaching him fake slang so they can laugh their asses off about it. Well,
my theory.
The Hungarian phrase book from Monty Python. My nipples explode with delight. Yes. Perhaps maybe they're just trying to just make your dad look bad by encouraging him to not know the right catchphrase, the right turn of phrase.
Well, because you know that if they're teaching him this shit that's all wrong, they're just, picturing him going out and using that phrase in public, and people being like, what the fuck?
Busted a nut at work today.
He went home to his family and told him that he's busting a nut.
Gross, Dad.
I don't ever need to hear this.
TMI, Dad. TMI.
The laughter that follows when he tries to tell me that. And he would be mortified if he ever heard this podcast. Luckily, he doesn't care.
No. Luckily, none of our friends and family want to listen to us talk.
We barely want to hear ourselves.
Mm-hmm. So that's fine. That's okay. This is what the hardcore fans want. They want to hear candid talk, unscripted, unplanned, unprofessional, a lot of uns. Unlistenable, all the uns.
There's the key word.
Yeah. So we should maybe tout that as a thing. Unlistenable podcast.
Unrehearsed, unscripted, unlistenable.
Yeah, I think so.
Podcast.
Yeah, pODDcast. So we're doing this for our listeners. We're doing this for our fans. We're doing this for our supporters. We are. We're allowing you to be part of our regular, casual, unscripted, unlistenable lives. So hopefully there's some value to that for somebody. But, they can't all be winners.
There's another motto for the show.
Yeah.
They can't all be winners.
Sleepless Knights podcast. They all can't be winners. Good night.
Maybe you'll have better luck next episode.
Better luck next episode. I think, but we're still learning too. I feel like we're still kind of finding our feet with this, and we've done some experimental things, and this was another experiment. Trying to drive a car to the airport and do a podcast
discussion while driving,
and shove a mic in the face of a guy who hasn't slept in 2 days and go, here, just talk.
Yeah,
hey, it sounds like gold to me.
Right? Yeah. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Yeah. I think this was an important day, a momentous occasion. Aaron, our collaborator and friend, is coming to stay with us, and we wanted to share that with everybody. So I don't think that's so wrong. I think that our intentions were good at the end of the day.
This is so wrong, I don't want to be right.
Of course, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I always think of the Tick when I think of that phrase.
Coming from my teeth.
Right, he gets this fortune cookie. There's a message from my teeth. And he reads the fortune, and it says the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
I always wondered where I got that.
And of course,
phrase.
the tick says, "I don't get it." Where he has the most to learn from that phrase. What were you saying, Aaron?
I was just saying I always wondered where I got that phrase from, and I'm betting I got it from the tick.
The tick.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it was it's a phrase. It's an idiom.
Now, is it from live action tick or animated tick?
This is from the Patrick Warburton.
Okay. No, I was already using it before that, so I must have picked it up somewhere else.
Yeah. So I don't.
That might be too racy for.
I don't think that they did it. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Right. I don't know if they would have said hell on the Saturday morning cartoon.
The roller coaster to hell.
Well, yeah, but that was.
Well, Rocco had a lot of hidden things on.
And Rocco was also on cable, whereas the tick originated on broadcast.
Yeah, Fox.
And my favorite character on the animated tick was Bipolar Bear. It was like, this looks like a job for Bipolar Bear, but I just can't get out of bed today. Oh man, so good. And then the guy who's like the Punisher, what is it? Big Shot? Is that what his name was? The guy
he's in the new live action one too. I'm trying to remember.
I think it's Big Shot or some version of that. Hot Shot, Big Shot. But Big Shot, he everything he shoots, he keeps shooting at it until he can carve it into a skull just by shooting at it. So he'll just make a hole shaped like a skull, or he'll carve a whole pillar into a skull by shooting at it. And then at one point
wasn't it Overkill?
Overkill. That might be. It could be Overkill. Or sometimes the characters have different names in the different shows.
I'm pretty sure they
Overkill.
I'm pretty sure they kept him the same though.
But anyhow, he shoots this thing into he's shooting everything through the whole episodes, and then at the end, I think he runs out of bullets, and he just starts crying and says, "Why didn't you love me, Mom?" It's like that show was so good, and that was for children. And I think people don't understand, you think like Ren and Stimpy and the Tick and a lot of those '90s cartoons. They were walking such a fine line where they were doing this irreverent humor. But
Freakazoid was another one.
Freakazoid was really great. I love when they're in Freakazoid where they're telling each other scary campfire stories, and then Freakazoid tops them all by telling the kids that Sinbad is going to get another another sitcom.
Yeah.
and then later on in the same episode, one of the kids can't sleep. He says, "Do you think that's true what he said about Sinbad getting another show?" Oh God. So. Great stuff, good satire, and under the radar. It was genuinely subversive because they weren't hired to do that kind of a show. They were hired to do a show that was supposed to be operating on a much more simplistic level, and they elevated it and made it subversive and made it a little bit adult at times. And I think that when you can get it under the radar like that. That's something that's really special, and we kind of live in a time now where the biggest show on TV is Rick and Morty, which is irreverent, and it's made to be irreverent, and there's no limits really to what they can do on that show. There's nothing that they would ever really get in trouble for, probably, other than just making McDonald's mad because of Mulan sauce. Which I think is stupid that they entertained that at all. I feel like for one, it's a joke. You're asking for something that's stupid. The whole joke of it is that it's outdated and nobody wants it.
Well, it's like the whole Crystal Pepsi renaissance.
Yeah.
Or it's like some of the older Cinema Insomnias I worked on, I would put Crystal Pepsi commercials in as a joke because I was just like, yeah, that is something that would still be sponsoring our show even though they don't make it. And then it's like the joke kind of ceased to be funny when people started demanding they bring it back. Right. And then when they did bring it back, it's like, well, now you ruined it.
Well, and has it already failed again? Because maybe if we just wait long enough, we could just start putting them back in the show.
Yeah, it's still on and off in stores right now. I saw it a month or so ago.
So maybe in two.
I keep seeing it like the discount bin at the Walmart.
Maybe if it completely fails, it'll be funny again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting that we're kind of going back and honoring these things that are famous failures. I mean, pretty soon they'll be asking for new Coke, right? Everybody will want new Coke. You know.
I just want Max Headroom back.
Yeah, I want Max Headroom back too, but
yeah, and that just reminded me of that creepy Bill Cosby new Coke commercial that I put in one of the CIs.
Oh wow, yeah, Aaron, you've put a lot of really upsetting commercials into the show.
Just Bill Cosby trying to force you to drink something.
Yeah.
It's so bad now.
Come on now, drink it.
Totally innocent in its time, and now it's just horrific.
There's
like, I need an adult. I need an adult.
Wow. Yep. So,
Cosby tooth decay.
yes, that's the one that Negative Land has on Dyspepsy, which Negative Land is, for those of you who don't know, is they're a sound collage kind of. They're very. They do these kind of sound collages, and it's almost music, but they're a band. They do use a lot of found audio in the things that they create, and they had a whole album called Dyspepsy, where they're making fun of the Cola Wars. And they use both bits of Pepsi and Coke commercials. And at one point, they have all this footage of Bill Cosby pushing Coca-Cola. And then they have this audio of Bill Cosby, which I think it was actually from a PSA where he's pretending, but it's Bill Cosby saying, people think I'm Bill Cosby, but really I'm tooth decay. And combining that with the Coke commercial was really brilliant. Yeah, that's what Dixie was referencing there. And if you don't know about Negative Land, we have some Negative Land content in the Church of the Subgenius section of the OSI 74 channel.
Greetings, this is Mr. Lobo from the future. It has been found by the High Council for Human Consumption that the artists from the Sleepless Knights are bankrupting the original copyright holder of. Had we been able to keep here, you would have heard. We're so sorry to the High Council for Human Consumption. May we praise you for keeping the public safe from malicious attempts. Our bad for trying to pull a fast one. You caught us, and we have removed so we can place our show back onto the airwaves. Thank you for your patience. Back to the show.
And that's Negative Land.
Now, if we don't put the music in, that would just be a moment of silence.
that might be funnier. We're just too lazy to do it. Yeah, and we featured some of their stuff in some of the convention reels back in October, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
I thought I remembered editing some stuff together.
Yeah, we have promoted in some of our panels that we've done at conventions. We presented some of Negative Land as part of Church of the Subgenius. It's very hard, I think, nowadays to do something that's subversive and satirical. What Negative Land did was very subversive, taking bits and audio from commercials and remixing them. And, we live in such a remix culture now where everything is combined and informed by everything else. So it's very hard, I think, to appreciate how countercultural that was. I wouldn't be surprised if people whatever start editing Pepsi commercials into Coke commercials and vice versa.
Or they start editing our podcast into something better.
Wouldn't that
like
be
a
great?
Dance remix.
Yeah, that would be great.
Hepatitis.
Just some of Paul shouting at the GPS from earlier.
Go!
Yeah.
Go! Down!
Food! Spoon! Yeah, it comes back to the tick.
Can't you read my lips?
Is this our last segment, for God's sakes? Can we end this?
I think mercifully it is.
Oh, wow.
I did have an idea.
Yes, let's hear Aaron, what's your idea?
Well, how you were talking about the whole McDonald Land universe and whatever the Burger King universe is.
Yes.
I think we should come up with like a crappy knockoff fake fast food chain as a sponsor for OSI, and then create their very awkward and sad little universe like that.
Have a fast food restaurant on Cinema Insomnia. It's the Grand Theft Taco.
Grand Theft Taco. We could bring that
use
back.
Grand Theft Auto characters.
Oh man. But
their land, it's like Grand Theft Taco San Andreas.
Yeah. But Grand Theft Taco was from the Super Wheels episode where Mr. Lobo is teaching Miss Mittens how to drive.
Okay, I vaguely remember that now.
He's giving Miss Mittens a taco to hold while he's driving, so that he can try to, because a coffee. I think part of the driving instruction included having a cell phone, a coffee, and a taco while you're driving. Also,
with the amount of hours I spent with that episode, I should remember that much better than I do, because it was like 100 hours in a week.
Oh my God!
Because remember, it was accidentally announced as a remaster, and there wasn't one.
Oh my God!
And then there was no remaster of the film, so I had to find ways to construct that out of like foreign prints.
Oh my God, Aaron! Aaron does some magic behind the scenes, putting together these episodes. So we really appreciate that Aaron is with us. It was a very
in his tip jar.
Put something in his thank jar, and we appreciate that you've been with us, and it's a special day today. We have our whole Cinema Insomnia family together, so we're going to make some good shows for you. Thank you for joining us here behind the scenes. You get to see what insufferable assholes we are in real life.
And we promise that the episodes we're making will be better than the one you're listening to right now.
Yes, we're a lot. We are a lot better at making TV shows than we are at making podcasts. Thank goodness. So thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Slow down! Get off my ass, you jerk!
We might not be back, so thank you, and we'll see you in the next life for the Sleepless Nights of Insomnia. You have been listening to the Sleepless Nights podcast, or should we say, pODDcast.
pODDcast.
Emphasis on the odd. Our theme is by Mars Homeworld at Dead House Music. Our opening announcement is by Ophelia Necro. She does a radio show called Suicide Watch. And you could reach Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com, or find me on YouTube, YouTube/Mr. Lobo, MisterLobo. Mr. Lobo on Facebook, Facebook/mr.lobo, or on Twitter, at Mr. Lobo, MisterLobo.
Or you can find myself, Paul Sanders, or better known as Bestow TV, at Bestow.tv, on YouTube /Bestow TV, on Twitter at Bestow Prod, P-R-O-D, and on Facebook, Bestow TV.
If you want to place an advertisement with this podcast, and gosh, why wouldn't you? We could be talking about you right now. Contact us, Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com. That's MRLOBO @CINEMAINSOMNIA.com. Or support us on Patreon. Patreon supporters get to hear this podcast before anyone else, and a lot of other great stuff, right, Paul?
Sure.
Doesn't get it better than that, right? So come join the fun at patreons.com/cinema-insomnia. That's patreon.com/cinema-insomnia. Please stay up with us next week for another Sleepless Nights podcast. Or should we say, pODDcast.
pODDcast.
The best thing about being an insomniac is never having to say goodnight.
Good night.